There is a space in my heart. I find the truth. I find me in you. A truth beyond what you may see now. But when we are one, we will more good about. No matter who or what you call yourself or where you come from, yeah. There is a place in this world with open arms right now. Welcome to love, welcome to peace, welcome to our community. Be who you are, let your light shine. We're so much more when we unite. Welcome here. You are welcome here. See with new eyes, allowing them go. Embrace and let go. Trust the flow. There's a freedom in love when you follow your heart. Together we are strong, and we could ever be apart. No matter who or what you call yourself, or where you come from, yeah. There is a place in this world with open arms right now. Welcome to love. Welcome to peace. Welcome to our community. Be who you are. Let your light shine. We're so much more when we unite. You are welcome. You are welcome here. Breathe in out, slowly feel all that's around you, all that you feel, all that you know. Let it go. Welcome to love. Welcome to peace. Welcome to our community. Be who you are. Let your light shine. We're so much more when we unite. Yeah, when we unite. Oh, we unite.
Am I on? Oh, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Center for Spiritual Living Ocala. Woohoo! Happy Sunday. I was just sitting here in awe of how fast the circle expanded. Like, I didn't have to announce anything. It's just like, wow, look at that. That's community, right? Awesome. So, welcome to our space. How many first time visitors do we have today? Fabulous. Yay. Welcome. Welcome. We're so happy to have you here. Every week is something different, and I'll talk about that more during the announcements later. But today we are doing spiritual practices. The first week of the month is spiritual practice, and our practice is a movement practice called Gong. That I'm going to let Sarah talk more about that later. So if you come next week, it's going to be completely different. The room will be set up more like, participate. It's different. It's more observer style next week. Okay, more like a church. Change therapy. Is that what I'm doing? Is that what we're doing here? every week. Yes. So yeah, it's a little special today. I'm so excited. It's very, very happy to have you here. So welcome to Center for Spiritual Living Ocala. We'd love to start out with our vision, mission, and what our values are, so that especially for our newcomers, you kind of get a sense for what we're about. And the first thing, our vision is that we are a model center for spiritual living, as evidenced by the transformational impact we have on ourselves, right, the spiritual community, and then as it ripples out. So, talk to people who've been coming for a little bit. We've been joking that we need to do video of folks the first time they're here, and then do video in about 6 months and ask you about the changes and the transformation. It happens, it's real. We see it in one another. And that's our whole, that's our whole goal. That's what we're here for, is to help people live their very best lives. So also the fact that we're saying we are a model center for spiritual living, that's so you know there are centers for spiritual living all over the U.S. and all over the world. There's about 400 different centers. So we are just one of a larger organization. Let's see what else. I think that's it for that one. And then our mission is to empower individuals to awaken to the power and presence that lies within and all around them so they can live their best lives. Meaning this thing that so many people call God, and if God isn't your word, you want to use creator, you want to use universal energy, source, whatever you call it, doesn't matter. That power and presence is right here, right now. It's sitting in the seat. It is inside of your skin. It is you. It's all of us. It's not separate from us, and we can't keep it away even if we wanted to. So we empower individuals to awaken to that presence. And so you can be your best version of you, that you can be. And then our values. Let me pick it for you. Thank you. And I'll invite you to say these values together with me. We determine these, it's been some years now. We may need to revisit it back in 2015 when I became the investor here. And they're in order too from what we chose. And at the very top of our list is spiritual growth and practice, love, appreciation, community, freedom, creativity, health and wholeness, generosity, and financial well being. Thank you. That was great. And the values are that thing that keeps you on track, right? So it's really, really important. And we don't just talk about it, we really endeavor to live these values. That's how we keep ourselves, back on the road where we need to be to our destination. So super important stuff. And I guess, is that it for me? Well, how about that? I get to hand it over to this lady here sitting next to me, Sarah Stenson, who has been a Qigong instructor for 40 some odd years, 47 years, and really excited for you to experience this today. Our practices are meant to give you real life tools that you can use day to day at any point, and that's what I feel like Qigong does. I do Qigong while I'm online, in the grocery store or when I'm washing dishes. I'm paying attention to my body, and that has come from this affiliation with Sarah. So I hand it over to Sarah Stenson.
Hello. Am I on? Am I on? Am I on? Come on. Can you hear me? Yeah. Hello. I'm going to go back a slide. I'm going to just sit and talk with you. It's normal sit. I'm not going to stand up here and preach. That's not what I do. It's not what I'm good at. How many of you have seen Tai Chi? Have you seen it? How many of you think you know what it is? Have any of you practiced? Good. I've had high blood pressure for the last 2 years, and I ask my doctors, what can I do? And they go, well, you got to do qigong. And I do qigong, you know. but the interesting thing is, in all the doctors that recommend qigong, I've never had one in class. So you kind of go, I'm not sure you know what that is. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what Tai Chi Chuan is and what Qigong is, because we here in the West, it kind of took us by storm in the 50s and the 60s and 70s. It kind of took us by storm, and there's a lot of stuff out there that isn't really grounded in any kind of what do I want to say, ancestral roots that a lot of people have studied, and then they've gone up and made up things for themselves. But that is not real solid Tai Chi. Tai Chi Chuan, Tai means the supreme ultimate. Chi is what? Our energy. Chuan means fist, boxing. Tai Chi Chuan, supreme ultimate boxing. Qigong is the is the yin. I want to talk about the divine, the feminine, the principle here too. The feminine, the masculine principle of this practice, because qigong is the mother of Tai Chi Chuan, and who knows how old it is. There are a lot of myths surrounding it, a lot of misconceptions, and a lot of translations that are translated that people don't really maybe understand what the Asian language is, and it's that's for sure. So qigong is started out as animal forms. You've got crane, bear, tiger, deer, monkey. Those are the five forms that started centuries ago. Tai Chi Chuan, then the story of how it became a boxing practice is that the monks were practicing the movements. They had to go to market and they had to go to town and beg for alms, right? And they didn't want their countenance, so they learned how to fight quiet. So that is part of the myth of how Tai Chi Chuan came about. There are, and I just want to say, be still as a mountain, move as a great river. Ben Lowe was one of my teachers. He was in San Francisco. They're all gone, which is really sad. But he was an amazing man. He went to Professor Ching in Taiwan. We'll talk about how Professor Ching got to Taiwan. He had tuberculosis, and he went to Professor Chang and said, I need to learn Qigong. And the professor, he said the professor showed him one move to move on to the show. Showed him the move and then said, you're pretty stupid, why don't you go away? Then Mo goes, can I see that one more time? And the professor rolled his eyes and showed it to him again. He goes, now go away. And Ben did. And he came back a year later, he had cured himself. And Professor Chang decided he could learn Tai Chi. Maybe he wasn't. So Ben Lowe became a very, very famous teacher all over the world. He died a few years ago. He had a school in San Francisco for years and years and years. And studying with him was a beast because he was amazing. Professor Chen Mancheng is the father, is the second generation. Yang Changfu is the developer of the Yang family Tai Chi scene. There are five families. Professor Cheng was an aristocrat. He was a painter, poetry, calligrapher, Tai Chi, and a doctor of traditional Chinese medicine. He helped remake the Chinese language with his calligraphy. That's how much respect he had in the Chinese community. Along comes the Cultural Revolution, and he is targeted by Mao Zedong to be assassinated. And I have, the stories are kind of hard to follow, but I was told that he was taken from China in the middle of the night by helicopter. Him and his family were taken to Taiwan in the middle of the night in the breeze. And that's when he taught in Taiwan. What brought him to New York City? I think he told me yesterday what it was. Oh, I know what it was. his paintings were on display at the Hudson River School. Anybody familiar with the Hudson River artist community? Very, very famous in the 1800s, and still going today. His paintings were on display at the museum, and he came to New York and decided what he needed to do was teach big noses. They're called big noses, Tai Chi. That we really needed it more than anyone else in the world. Was he right? No. He was a Professor Chen Nanchen. Mm-hmm. My teachers, Jane is the first person on the slide. Jane Feigal is my main teacher. She studied with Professor Chang. Her and her husband, Baton, which is standing with another woman, um, they studied with Professor Chen Manchang for 10 years in New York City with the New York City School. Maggie Newman is the only one that's still alive. She's the woman with the turban. She's 100 years old and she has dementia. So we've lost a lot of history. We've lost a lot of our history. Ben Lowe is the little ski man. The con wasn't much bigger, but he was a powerful tiger. I remember what he said. What he said. Baton always loved Baton. He was a poet, and he was very dry. He said, life hangs in a very delicate balance on a very thin thread, and Tai Chi is my thread. And I love that. What's your thread? What holds you together? What holds you together? And I'm half blind, so Tai Chi, 5 families, Yang, Chen, Wu, Han, Hua. I am only familiar with Chen, Wu, and Yang. I do not know the other two. They have very different styles, but to discern one from another, I couldn't tell you, but I would know Yang from the short form. There was a long form which consisted of 100. They took the moves of the qigong. They took the moves and they strung them into what we call the solo exercise. So there's 127 moves in the long form and 67 in the short form. And that was developed in New York City by Professor Chen Manchang when he started teaching it. Like, yeah, you're probably right. So he shortened the form to 67 essential moves. So there are many forms. There's the solo exercise, sword form, sparring form. Dalu is a sparring form that is about movement. It's more like a dance. And then there is a staff form. It's a series of postures strung together. And each posture in the Tai Chi Chuan movement, each posture has multiple martial applications. It is finally a martial art because it was developed for the monks to protect themselves. So it is a martial art. It's just called an internal soft martial art. It's where what Bruce Lee and the others do a hard style, hard hitting force. In Tai Chi, we say no more than 4 ounces of force. Go to the grocery store next time and stick your hand on that and see how much 4 ounces of strength is. So it's not about strength at all. It's about developing your internal chi, your energy, and getting that chi from the start to permeate your entire body, so that finally you're working with chi. Baton did he drank a lot and he had liver cancer at the end, and he went on a tour to China because he always wanted to go to Wudong Mountain, which is the birthplace of Tai Chi. That's the birthplace, and he always wanted to go to Wudong Mountain. So he went to Wudong Mountain, and the second night he was there, he died. I thought that was so fitting for the time. And his daughter said, Baton always would sneak off and do something. Why wouldn't he sneak off? And he did. He died there. And a friend of mine who studied with him as well, she said, oh, he was nothing but energy anyway. So, he just took off one day. We practice the same sequence every time. The form is never done randomly. It's always done in sequence. Why do you think that is? Why do you think it's... Say again? You can't memorize this. It took me a year and a half. That's just a sequence. It took me a year and a half. It's a tough thing because you can't memorize it. You have to develop it in your body. The practice creates refinement of the moves, harmonious movement, suppleness, strength. That's why. But ultimately, it's about peace. So there you go. All right, get that out. The myths of origin. One of the myths I really like is the old woman was watching a train. The snake was trying to get to her. And the old woman was watching the train every time the snake Isn't that an interesting thing to watch? And she started developing the myth. And that's another one of them. Who knows? A lot of women practice Tai Chi. Tai Chi Chuan, Latin is against father to son, or father to the person that wanted to like a mentor. And then some fathers decided that they were spiritual. And some women just, what's the fancy place? And they're really beautiful moves. They have very beautiful standing on the edge of the river. I practice that one. Setting the sail, following. And there are eight postures that you taught Americans for ages. And I taught those for years at the Peter Valley Hospital in Fort Collins. 400 students those weeks. And one senior, she was so cute. She was a fragile, only in her 80s. And she comes in, and the little old lady shoes, the girl thing. And she came up to me and she said, yes, she came in the red high top seat. And she started laughing. But yeah, that was funny. She was such a sweet thing. 8 days to raise for 8. Those moves, my husband and I took in the book. There were 5 principles, for reading. What do you think? You can read them. Relax. What do you think that means? Oh, that's good. Let go. Let go of, the things that we talk about in here, the tension, the traumas that are stuck there. It's like excavating the body of this truth for the and getting the body clarified. I call it clarifying the body so that we're not carrying stuff around. That's what really relaxed means. So many people think relax means I'm going to go home and I'm going to collapse in my chair and have a drink. Relaxation like this. And we do a lot. We implode. We implode as we age. And this is this is what I'm going to teach you, is how to not let yourself explode. And we'll talk about why you do this. All movement comes from, to keep the body upright and comfortable. That's part of the not imploding. You know, imploding means everything crashes. All movement comes from the Gong, the hara, the center of our gravity. Put your hands on your belly button. I got my thumb on my belly button. And I'm going to go 3 fingers below my belly button, and that's our hara. And you think about it, that's the bowl. That's our pelvic bowl. And that's where everything sits. It's right here in the heart. And here, not this is where Americans watch Americans do. We're moving with our head. When I'm moving with my head, I usually that's when I separate yin from yang. In the beginning, in the very beginning, it's simply if one leg has all your weight on it, you're 100% on one leg. What's the other leg doing? The leg you're standing on is yang. The empty leg is yin. Yin is the divine energy. Professor Chang says that all the universe comes from yin. Out of yin, out of the void, comes life, comes yin. So that is that yin is in, yin is receptive. Yeah, waiting to give birth to something, right? The ideas that we miss. Um, Soft, sensitive hands, and we'll talk more about yin yang when we start moving. It ultimately becomes an internal movement of just your chi and how you think of it and how you use it. And in the martial application, it has a very definite application. Yin has an application, yang has an application of the energy, and we can control that. Develop that. We can cultivate that within ourselves. We don't have to just let it be flying around inside of us without any do, which is what happens. Which is what happens. Our energy gets scattered and fractured and all about us. And Tai Chi goes, gather it all up. Professor Chang, we're going to talk about alignment. Professor Chang. Right? You take that point of your chin, and I want you to just drop it down until it feels like it's connected to that. That brings the head into alignment. It's the head. Muscle, and then it's no, no. That's too much. What's the core muscle? The psoas muscle, and you can see, I'll show you. It starts right here. Starts right here. You can feel it. Starts right there. And it goes inside the pelvis and is connected to each one of the lumbar spines and connected to the last floating rib. Right? That anchors the top to the hips. It anchors the legs to the dantian. When you go to walk, it's not this that leads. It's right here, and we're gonna talk about that. As you go to take a step, this engages. This is the very first muscle that engages, is the psoas. So as the psoas goes, so the body goes. I'm also a massage therapist. I've been doing massage therapy same number of years. A little bit about how I got into this. I found myself in Boulder, Colorado through, well, you know how life is. I wound up in Boulder, Colorado. And I was seeing my Jane and Baton's name all over the kiosks on the Pearl Street Mall. Anybody been to Boulder? Yeah, the Pearl Street Mall. And there's kiosks. This town needs kiosks. I'm telling you, you can't find any classes in this town. And all over the kiosks were Jane and Baton teaching Tai Chi. And at the time, I was doing dance with two women who had studied with Martha Graham in New York. There were a lot of, and I was studying dance. But in the other room, through totally fascinated by it. And I was married at the time for just a few months when I said, looking for me. Room in a house with four other women who were all studying Tibetan Buddhism. Pema Chodron at the time with Trungpa Rinpoche, who's a Tibetan guru that came to the United States. He wound up in Boulder. I want to know who your poets are. I want to know who your artists are. And so he started Naropa Institute in Boulder during that time. When I was doing dance at Naropa, it was just a summer, crazy summers. All kinds of people coming in. They came to Boulder, and Naropa said, when I moved into that house, and this woman was doing shiatsu massage. She gave me a massage. Now, I'm a cowgirl from Wyoming, okay? And she gave me that massage, and I went, oh my God, I have to know this. You have to teach me. You have to teach me how to do this. I was a clerk at the grocery store, and at the time I thought, it's a much better thing to do than being a clerk at a grocery store. I don't want to learn this. So I was learning that at the time. I was taking up Tibetan meditation. And then this woman that was there said, oh, yeah, I know Jane and Baton. They're best friends. Doubt life doesn't work like it. You know, everything I've done has been drawn to it with my passion, with what I needed to learn and what I wanted to learn and who I am. So never doubt that. If you have an inkling of doing something, do it. Don't say, oh, I'm going to. Don't do that. That's not good for you. So I started studying the start of a beautiful friendship that lasted for a number of years. I studied, and then I began to co-teach with him. And at the time, after my divorce, we were at a party, and my current husband come up and sit by me, and he was, hi, I'm Michael. I'm like, oh hell no. Now, I'm done with men. You don't understand. And I think you got the vibe. right? And then he asked me, he came to a party a few months later and he started playing guitar. And I'm like, well, it's kind of interesting. You know, he was assisting Jane and Baton. It's kind of interesting. And started dating him. And Jane and Baton married us in our backyard a year later. We're still here. We're still here co-teaching. We we are in our body. Didn't just mind. I came up with a saying the other day because I saw it in myself. I was doing my form and I crinked my, and I was like, Sarah, you can't talk to your body if you're not listening, right? So we can hear, we can listen. How's my little toe? You'll know, right? So why wait for pain? Wait for pain. I think that's a silly thing that we do in the West. Screaming for something, screaming for attention. That is, it's this little child going, Mommy, go away. Mommy, ignore you. Mommy. That's all I wanted. Right? We can get into that. The only way out of pain is what? Through it. And ignoring it is not going through it. You have to pay attention. You have to listen. You have to be in your body. I mean, I'm like, yeah, just think of all you'll miss if you don't pay. As we make our bed, damn, my back hurts. I think I'll go have a drink. Now, pay attention. Pay attention. There's no place. That was Professor. We'll go back to that. Let's work. How much time we have? Oh, we have plenty of time. I want you to keep this. Let's stand up, and then I'm going to have you this time get in rows, and I'm going to have you facing true north. Now, the reason everybody got a little bit of room. We don't need a whole lot of room, but we start north, and the reason we start north is because we're talking alignment here, okay? And we may think we're aligned, but most of the time we want efficient, right? We want to work smart. We want to want you to relax your tailbone. at the there in your tailbone. Relax your hips. Let go of your butt. I learned a long time ago if I let go of my butt, it wouldn't fall off. If I could let go of myself, I wouldn't fall apart, right? But we can put ourselves back together. Falling apart's a wonderful thing, actually, because then you can rebuild better. So relax your tailbone. And then I want you to put your hands on your chest for a minute. Most people walk with their chest out. That's that proud military thing that we got. We put our chests out and we stand up tall. How many of you sit up straight? How many of you would do that? What happened 5 minutes of the spine, right? So the page isn't out like this. It's right there. So just let that be. If you were to relax, relaxation is not this. It's not this. You can put your hand on your solar plexus to between your shoulder blades. And then remember, just soften the chin. I want you to feel the ground. Feel your feet on the ground. Soften the calves of your legs. Soften your knees. If you lock your knees, which I'm a perpetual knee locker, it took me a long time. Unlock your knees, just lock them up, feel the change in the body. Now just unlock them. You feel that you are, the solar plexus is relaxed. And let your shoulders relax. The armpits are key here. I know a lot of exercises say keep doing deep breaths, keep doing deep breaths. And yes, that's good. But to just make it happen doesn't mean it's necessarily correct. What I want you to do is relax your armpits and see what happens. You took a breath, right? Just relax. We don't have to monitor our breath. That's one of our gifts from the universe. I'm just going to make it. You don't even have to think about your breath. You don't have to think about your heart beating. What you need to think about is letting go and enjoying being in life. Let go. Take a breath. Soften your thighs, fronts, back. Let go of your butt. Huh? Yeah, we all are. And you'll see. She says she's a butt clencher. Who isn't? Who isn't? Right? And so I noticed when I was with older people that when we clinch and this gets developed, so this is all developed and this just becomes nothing. Just these little things there, and especially in old age, I got them myself. But here, let that, instead of like right here, let go of your crotch. Uh, there's all kinds of going on in the barn. So right here, especially right. I'm going to throw myself forward, right? I'm going to forward. And do that for just a minute. Just take the little step. We can be in gravity. We can be with gravity. That's the engagement right there. So that's why this has to relax. This has to relax. And then everything can be interdependent. All of the muscles work interdependently, not one versus another. Any questions? Any thoughts? Any laughs? Yeah. Um, here's we don't, and I'll get up here. Maybe everybody can see. When we go to what I notice when I teach, and there was a guy that I worked with for years, and he was a dear man, but he walked like this, and it was because he was constantly falling forward and had to catch his balance, and that's why he was walking like that. And we do that. We walk like this. Just put your head a little bit forward. See what happens to your balance. And years ago, they would come in like this. I'm like, what are you doing? Oh, my doctor told me to watch my feet. Really? Is this the same one that recommended you do Tai Chi? Right? So you have to get up there. And how can I do? What I want you to do next is just bend here and then start to walk. What do you notice? You fall forward. Right? Boom, you fall forward. Now, think about this spot right here. You've got your center line here. It starts at the tailbone, goes to the top of the head. And then you've got two supporting lines. I call it two supporting lines. And it comes right from the shoulders, through the nipple line, through the middle of the knee, to the second toe. Just draw that line for yourself. Draw that line for yourself. You've got your center line, you've got your supporting lines. Everything else can just come along with you. They can shut up and just come with you, right? So when we walk, we begin to, the knee initiates the walk, the heel hits the ground, the foot expands, and then you have the point of the ball of the foot, which gives you what we call in horsemanship, we call it purchase. You get the purchase on the ground, and that's what propels you forward. In Tai Chi, in normal walking, we propel ourselves forward, up and out like that, which is what? Try that. Where's your balance? Throws you off balance. So now you have to hurry up to stay upright, right? So now I'm here. Now if I just say I'm going to move from here, what I have to do is let go of this leg and let it initiate here and move it forward and move it straight on that line. The heel hits the ground, the foot expands, and you've got purchase. Feel the difference? Yeah. Right. So, our neighbor, we've become pretty good friends, and she said the other day, we told her we did Tai Chi as we finally, got to talk. And she said to Michael, "Oh, so that's why you walk funny." Oh, so that's why you walk funny. Because we have to walk by her place to get to the mailbox. But it's here. It's like from here, there's step, 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 and everything comes together. Everything comes together. Good. Now the funny thing that we all do that we can get rid of is this. Oh my God. And now I got to put my toes down, and then but we don't. Anybody done any Feldenkrais work? Do you know who Mushi Feldenkrais was? Yeah, fabulous man. Grumpy as hell at the end of it. Fabulous man. He had people laying on the floor, and he had a piece of a board, and we were laying on our backs, and he comes and he puts the board on our heels, and our toes immediately went, right? Touch the heel, the toe wants to hit. So we don't need to do this. Okay? Heel, toe, heel, toe, heel, toe. A lot of people do a lot of variations, like I don't know if all of you can see, but sometimes we hit the outside and then we roll to the inside. How many of you have bunions? This will cure bunions. Because what's happening as you hit on the outside of the heel and then you roll over to this joint here, instead of here straight, this joint gets too much pressure. And so going straight like that, the foot really is designed to just be straight like that, not variations. So close your eyes for a minute and just stand how you normally stand. Don't make anything up. And I want you to get your mind in the bottom of your feet. You can close your eyes if you feel comfortable enough standing. Is your weight on the outside of your feet or on the inside of your feet? Or a combination? That's your knees. Yeah, that will help your knees. This will help your knees. Is your weight more on the ball of your foot or more on the back? And how many of you feel like all you can do is weave? Yeah. Good. Open your eyes. What did you notice? I thought I had this down, damn it.
I'm 6 years old. I'm just getting it down.
I thought I had this down. That's right. Now the next variation we're going to correct. This is all coming up to an exercise. Don't worry. Now, how many of you are standing with your feet like a duck? Yeah. How many of you are standing kind of like one might be here and then one? Just close your eyes for a minute and sense, are you aligned with how you normally stand? Now remember, normal is not necessarily efficient or correct, right? To correct the knees, I've done that for years. My husband doesn't have any trouble with his knees. If I don't pay attention, I was out for 2 years unable to teach because I really screwed up my knees working too hard. And so I had to go back to the very beginning and start over and fix those things. So I want you to look down at your feet, and I want you to get shoulder wide. And that is not here. That's not here. That's not your shoulder joint. This is your shoulder joint right here, right? On that nipple line. And then here's your knees. Now if your weight on your feet tend to move in like this, what's weak is this. What's weak are the adductors, the adductor muscles. So you have to go, I need to bring these out and open, and I need to strengthen this whole center line core, and that will correct the knees. Eventually it will correct the knees. The muscles will get strong. And then the next thing, if your toes are kind of here or there or yonder, I want you to bring them 90 degrees straight ahead of you. And you're going, oh my God, now that is not right, right? How many of you feel that is not right? It's not normal, right? Because it's not normal, but it is efficient. I was going to bring my little helper, my little skeleton. The hip joints are here. Find your hip joints right here. It's not here. This is the hip, the top of the pelvis. This is the hip joint. I want you to bend. Now, I know you all can do that because you got in the car and you came here. So you know how to bend your hips. It's there, right there. And the hip, the bones, they don't really show the joint. Yeah, they do a little bit. The hip joint's right here. Right there. And then this is the neck of the hip joint. And then the greater trochanter is right here. And then that is the femur. When people fall and they break their hip, they usually break the neck of the femur right there by the ball because it's the most vulnerable, right? So that fractures. And it's so deep in the body and it has a hard time healing. That's why it can be so devastating. But the joint is there, and it's a ball and socket joint. What does that mean? Yeah, right. This is a hinge joint. What's a hinge joint? Yeah. What happens to the knees? If the hip joint isn't moving properly, which is a rotating joint, but something's got to rotate. What's going to rotate? The knees. Yeah. So you have to really pay attention to that. And the first thing that does, I want you to put your hands right here on your hip joint. Bring your toes out like a duck. What happens to these muscles here? They get tight, right? Now bring your toes in, and these muscles get tight. Now bring your toes right straight ahead. Let go of your butt muscles, and what happens? Everything opens up, doesn't it? And you feel more balanced. Your weight can drop into gravity. Drop into gravity. That doesn't mean you collapse into gravity. You drop into gravity. We implode as we age. And what happens, what I notice a lot, is we're here, but we've got variations. The small muscles around the joints are what that make the subtle movements of the joint. Those muscles are the first ones to quit working. They're the first ones to quit working. And then it leaves the big long levers, the quads and the hamstrings. Then the movement is the pendulum swings bigger. And as you start to engage the muscles closest to the joint and the small muscle, then the movement becomes much more refined and subtle. Right? So we want to refine those muscles around the joint. The first thing to start, if my feet are out like this, there's a little muscle, I call them I'll think of it. the rotators. And if your feet are out like this, you can put your hands right here. This is called the piriformis. And so if my feet are out like this is tight, then you can feel that hip joint. Can you feel that hip joint get tight? And then if I bring it back in, it loosens up. And that engages the rotators closest to the joint. It's very important. As we age, those little muscles quit working because we don't know how to use them very well. And then they stop working, the joints get stiff and bound up, and then it's the big muscles that move us. And then our balance has a bigger swing. But if it's the smaller muscles moving, we have a much more subtle movement. So we want to get those muscles soft. Any questions on that? So when those go, this is what happens. The knees start to collapse. This starts to collapse. And we're down like this as we age. And then we're looking up like this. That's implosion, right? What Tai Chi is so good at aging is you bring this all up, open this all up, open this up and out. So you're bringing it out and open from the inside. Does that make sense? Right? Any questions?
I'm just wondering if the balance should be like feeling the bottom of the feet, like it should be balanced all around. I feel it like I'm on 12 feet when I adjust for that.
Yeah, exactly. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
It should be balanced all around. You feel like you want to heel and fall.
But, well, actually, there's this little spot right here. If you're barefoot, you can see it. It's right there. It's called the bubbling well. That's our root. It's what we call in Tai Chi our root. This is where we grow a root when we're centered to the ground. It's right. Right there. And I'll be glad to show it to you, when I can. I'll be glad to do that for you. So the root is there, and then the weight is spread evenly on the ball of the foot, and I usually have a whiteboard. On the heel of the foot is like this. We call it the 5 nails. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The 5 nails. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we've got the 5 nails. You want them all connected to the floor. And then you want the ball of the foot. And then the root is kind of like a suction cup. It's what holds us into gravity and feeds us from the root. Any questions? Does that make sense? So when I'm like this and when I'm going forward, lean forward just a little bit and wait and see which muscles get tight. Just lean forward so that your weight's on the ball of your foot. Yeah. You have to hold yourself up, don't you? A lot of tension. Now, from the bottom of the foot, I want you to let go, let go, let go, let go, let go, let go until you feel more centered. So you have to let go of all those muscles in your legs and your shoulders. Now I want you to lean back and just wait there for a minute. Yeah, this one's a tough one because this really starts howling at you, right? Oh my God, I can't do that. But a lot of people do stand like this. Now I want you to let go of all those muscles starting at the bottom of the feet. Let go of that muscle, calves, knees, thighs, rear end. What? Did it bring you back up right? Yeah. Now soften here. Now the next thing, believe it or not, this is an exercise. We do this. Before I do any movement whatsoever, I do this. I line myself up. If I don't line myself up and I start to do my form, guess what? 3 moves down the road and I am way out of balance. And I'm struggling to do my form. So I do this. The next thing, right at the top of the head, kind of like you're a puppet. And there's a string right there. And you're suspended from the tailbone. So there's a suspension that this is going down into the earth and this is reaching up to the moon. It's called wearing the moon like a hat. It's not heavy. Oh my God, the moon is heavy. And the moon doesn't quite sit on top of the head. You're just barely kind of reaching up. And you're reaching up from your tailbone while these two supporting lines are holding you steady. What did you say? And you're going to do that for quite a while. While you're doing this exercise, I do this when I get up in the morning. I get up, I line myself up. Why go about the day without doing that? Line yourself up. You'll get stronger. You'll get stronger. That's strength. Professor Chang, you saw that very first slide of him. He was in his 60s when he did that. I never was able to do that, and I think it's because of my knees. I've had to correct a lot of body things that my husband hasn't had to correct, but I have. That's wearing the moon like a hat. Now you've been standing there for a little bit, so I want you to just kind of shift in a circle and kind of shift around and come back to your place. Give your legs a break. Jane would say that. She'd work our butts off, and then she'd say, okay, take a break. Rest your legs. So in the Boulder Park, underneath the library, we put a beautiful bench, and it says, rest your legs. Jane was a tiger. Jane could walk into a room, and the room would be absolutely silent. There's Jane. There's Jane. God, I miss him. That's wearing the moon like a hat. Now, the next thing we're going to do, and you're going to switch your balance a little bit, right? It looks like this. This is the move that Professor Chang taught Benlo. Again. So your arms come up. Don't bring your shoulders up. Let go of your shoulders. The elbows are not out like this. I want you to drop your elbows to the ground. And then your hands are here. And then I want you to open the hands up. And then the hands slide gently across the top of the table to a little begging dog. Now the elbows relax, they move back, and the hands open up. And then the hands feel the breeze between the fingers. This supples the wrist, the elbow, and the shoulders while making your balance. I want you to do it again, and I want you to see what happens to your butt when you do it. Who wants to share what happened? What you noticed? Huh? Yeah. This breaks up that chunk. They really are two separate things. They're only connected right here. Huh? Yeah. That. A funny story, right? That's the first thing we relax your shoulders. That's all we. What are the 5 principles? Relax your shoulders. So I'm studying. I had a Volkswagen van at the time. How many are surprised by that? And you drive like this. And I'm going down one of the Boulder streets. Oh yeah, man, I'm cooking. Woohoo! And I look in the rearview mirror, and there's Baton. in the car behind me, and he goes, I'm like, damn, busted. I always think of that. I'll never forget the look on his face. He's smiling. Oh, yeah, I can drive. Relax your shoulders. Relax your shoulders. Not here. Not here, Karen. Relax the armpits. Relax the armpits. Huh? Yeah. Let go. This breaks up the tension there. So now here's your challenge. When I get here, I have to change my balance. I'm not going to go like that. I have to let go of your knees and stay in alignment with gravity. Then I open my hands, stay in alignment with gravity. Move the hands across, stay in line with gravity. Let go of your butt. Put your mind in your root. Then open up. Let the hands go back down. Again, inhale up to here. It's an inhale. An exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Let go, but don't collapse. Again, smooth. You're oiling your oil. Who knows that? Oil. You're oiling your joints, said the Tin Man. Let go. Walk around a little bit. Hey, I still do it. We have an espresso machine, and so in the morning, while I'm making my espresso, I'm doing this move. As Cindy said, who has the inclination to get up and say, I'm going to do this for an hour every morning? Yeah, sure. It doesn't happen that way. Now I'm going to teach you a kind of stagger yourselves a little bit because I want you to have some room. That movement is a crane movement. So, I'm going to bring my wings up. And I'm going to let my wings exercise my wings. It's a crane move. Doing a crane. I worked for an Indian man for years, about 10 years, was his assistant. And sometimes he would annoy me. Sarah, come in here. I'm going to kill you. I can't remember how he made me so angry one day. I went into the bathroom and go, don't strangle him. No, you can't strangle him. Okay, you can go out and you can be nice. Never underestimate the power of this move. It looks so simple. But if you did this for a year, and I challenge you to do it, I challenge you to practice this. You keep refining. Your butt keeps relaxing more. Your feet keep relaxing more. You keep letting go, right? You can line yourself up. You can line yourself up with those knees. You know what the hard part is of Tai Chi? What do you think the hard part is? Well, yeah, that's right up there. The hardest part is beginning. Is making yourself begin. Making yourself begin. You have to be drawn to it. I don't know why I study this. I really don't. I don't know what attracted me to it, or Jaina Baton. It's one of those magic things. I didn't say, well, I'm going to go find Jaina Baton. I just was drawn into it, and I still am. It's a worldwide community. Any questions on that? Jane had a beautiful way of saying, you do it until the energy changes. And then you do it a few more times. Because once the energy changes, then you're really doing Tai Chi. Right? And you'll feel that you'll begin to feel that shift. How many of you have felt a little bit of a shift already? A shift. And you settle in. So you settle in. That's not the time to quit. Because now I settle in, I'm here, and when I do that move, that's when I get the most benefit, is when it's correct. And how often is that? Not often. Huh? Keep working, keep working. The next one I'm going to teach you is standing on one leg. Standing on one leg. Now I'm going to change the rules a little bit. To stand on one leg, the toes are going to be out a little bit. Simply because standing on one leg when you're this way there's not a lot of balance there. It's just here. But if I put my foot out here, then I've got more of a rectangle. I don't quite know how to explain that. So I want you to stand first on your left leg, and then think about right here to the knee. And I want you to just bring this knee straight ahead of you, and hold it there for a second, and get this leg holding you up. That's hard, isn't it? And don't lock your knees. Yeah. And then put it down. Shift to this leg is now yang, and this leg is yin. It should be completely empty. Eventually. I have trouble because this ankle has been mutilated in a car wreck. So right here, bring this leg up, straight ahead. Step, shift, bring this leg up, straight ahead. That. Shift, shift. This is called separating yin from yang. Yeah. And come back to center. Come back to where you are now. 50% of your weight is on the right leg, 50% of your weight is on the left leg. We go by percentages. Any questions? How much time do we have? Do we have any more? Yeah. We're going to add the arms in that. A wasp got me yesterday, and it just itches like crazy. Yeah, but I mean, my husband is, I'm going to go out there and get him. And I don't like doing that, but if they're going to be nasty around my house, they have to move. So this move looks like this. It's called stretching. I like to call it a flying crane, and you're going to have to kind of give each other room here. It comes like this, my wings. And then I shift. Then I shift. And you don't have to lift the leg up completely. Just balance on that toe. It's more important to get this leg strong than it is to be on one leg. Just kind of make it a nice and flowing, nice and even. And you'll know where your balance is and where it isn't. Who cares? It's something to work on. It's not, geez, I'm not good at this or anything like that. It's just simply, how can I get better? How can I get better? How can I get stronger? And then come to center. And the crane comes to center. When I do crane, I always like to think of, and this is such a beautiful place to see cranes, right? They're just standing in the water. I'm just a crane. It's beautiful. Good. Just relax your legs a little bit. Jane would always say, shake them out. So we would hold postures like this. We had to hold this posture. Always had to hold this posture. Hold that posture. I mean, there was this many people in class or more. And you had to hold this posture until everybody was corrected. Don't come up out of your legs. Oh, it was brutal in the beginning. We were doing it every day, every morning. We were learning. It took me 1.5 years to learn the form. It took me 1.5 years. Okay, go home and do it. Any questions? So I brought a sword. I just, in case you just want to see. I'm starting to work again on my sword form. It hasn't been, but they're double edge, and you can look at it. The sword form is designed to extend the chi from the body, and it's not whacking like the knights of old. There's no whacking in the sword form. It's very much like if I want to, comes from the center. I love this move. It's called Wild Pony Jumps the Stream. And then there's one called Wild Birds Return to the Forest. So that's the sword form. This is the metal swords. They're hard to find. Huh? Are you going to give me the sword? Well, what is it? Michael told Baton he wanted to learn the sword form. Baton said, okay, make a sword. So this is our sparring swords. And Michael made this one for me in the very beginning. Yin and yang, male and female. And this is a sparring form. Anybody can look at it if they want to. This was my cat's ID. I don't know why I put it there. But that we sparred with the wooden swords because, well, it was dangerous to do it. Anyway, that's the sword form. Okay, any questions? Ideas? Thoughts?
Just how much thought goes into something as There's so many pieces and parts, right? Like your feet are have to be balanced, and then your knees are unlocked, and your thighs are unlocked, and your butt's like loose, and all of that stuff is crazy.
And that's the exercise. That's the meditation part of it, yeah.
So last time you taught us how to relax sitting on the edge of our chair.
Yes.
And I think it's important to note that you can do this even if you can't stand for long periods of time.
Yeah.
You can practice. I started doing it in the morning on the edge of my bed first before standing. Like I'm not ready for standing yet.
Thank you for coming. Yes, you can line yourself up by I took a class from the East West Foundation in Boston years ago. My girlfriend and I went out. T.T. Leong was a gentleman that taught the form. He was in St. Cloud, Minnesota. He was just a wonderful man, and he was old at the time and kind of heavy set. You know, some of those guys were pretty portly, and he sat like this the whole time, and his assistants were teaching, but he never moved, and he just spoke. He was so beautiful, and I just mostly stood and stared at him. Who is this old guy? I really like him. T.T. Leong. He's got some really nice writings. T.T. Leong has some nice writings. Oh, thank you. Well, it's a little bit about Michael and I. The greatest gift my teacher Jane ever gave me was the Dalai Lama came to Boulder and was doing a conference. There was rabbis, there were leaders from every different religion that came to this conference talking about the importance of a contemplative educational style, and we all know how that's going to work, right, in the United States. But it was a really important conference, and my teacher wanted me to teach. We divided the people that are attending into groups, and I taught one of the groups. And part of the gift of teaching that group was just the education. The educators got to be in a big tent with the Dalai Lama. Here was me the whole time. I couldn't, he was so huge. He was so huge. He just filled the room with this warmth and kindness, and I just blubbered the whole time. But it was a wonderful gift that I got to do that. My husband and I have taught all over, with Washington, Colorado, New Mexico. We're teaching here. He's teaching at the Chi University now on weekends. So it's a journey. Well, I'd like to. Probably in the fall. We'll teach. We'll start teaching. We'll start with Qigong. And then if you want to learn the form, work with my husband. He's the one who teaches the form. I don't teach the form as much. I can do a little bit of the form for you. It's hard for me because I have to, with my broken ankle, I have to remake a lot of the moves, because they're so intense. I have to make some moves, but I'll do what we call the first third.
This is not the one that's called dance? So this is not the one that's...
No, the dance is Michael. Yeah, when Michael and I are sparring, is a dance. It's about balance, right? It's not a hard hitting martial art. It's about balance, and no more than 4 ounces of strength means when you're sparring with somebody, you can't hard hit. You can't cheat. You have to be in balance. And if somebody pushes on you, you have to maintain your balance. You have to move to maintain your balance. There were many women that started Tai Chi in the beginning, and I think 3 or 4 of us outlasted. Were able to get through the pushing form, because, and let's talk just a minute about the divine energy, the feminine and the masculine. Just in the physical realm itself, when we were sparring, what do men want to do? They want to win, and they're aggressive. What do women do? We collapse. We're not assertive. We're not aggressive. We're taught not to be aggressive. I'm not giving either one a hard time here. I'm just looking at the reality of the 2 different energies with which we play in the world, and the aggressive, the aggressor, and the recipient, the receiver. Right? In the sparring form, the men have to develop their yin side. They have to develop softness. They have to develop this ability to give in without being violent, right? They have to learn to soften. Women, what do we have to do? We have to become assertive, but not aggressive. Yeah. I'm a very aggressive person. I probably know that. But I grew up with an older brother who was always beating up on me, right? I learned to defend myself. But I learned too much. I got aggressive. And this Tai Chi has also been a great way for me to have some place to put that, something to cultivate. Okay, so that the two have to come together. And in the beginning, I went home probably after every sparring class in tears. And Mike would say, "You have to learn to be assertive. You have to learn to be assertive." And there was one guy who was always going after our breasts. He was always going for the breasts, right? Well, one day I'm sparring with him, and he's wide open like this, and I just lifted my knee, and he goes, "That's not fair." Really? Really? That's not fair? You were open. You were open. He was mad at me for weeks. You know, I didn't kick him or anything. I just simply said, "You're exposed." We got along better after that, right? We got along a lot better after that. So that just that practice alone was trying to bring these two, the yin and yang for both sexes. Every yin has a part of a yang. Every yang has part of a yin. It's keeping it in balance. Keeping it in balance. Thank you. There was a great quote here by Ben. Walk like a cat. Walk like a cat. Remember, when moving, there is no place that doesn't move. When still, there is no place that isn't still. It is said, if others don't move, I don't move. If others move slightly, I move first. Thank you. Thank you so much. Oh, absolutely.
I have a physical challenge with the balance. I'm hard of hearing, and I didn't realize how bad it was. I do move slow. I do move consciously, and my balance is off, and I know it's from my hearing.
Yeah, interesting.
So how can I compensate or help others, to be able to do what you teach me? People have challenges, physical challenges.
Everyone. Yeah. We just don't know it until we realize, oh, yeah.
Sure, I pretend I don't own any of my stuff, too. Imagination is wonderful.
You can do it. You can do it by going slow. We practice slowly. We're not Bruce Lee. We practice slowly and methodically. And where I'm out of balance, I'm like, what's going on there? Oh, well, this is tight. Maybe I can let go of that and bring myself back into balance. So there are ways. Absolutely, there are ways. If a person can cure themselves of tuberculosis, we all can do this. People in wheelchairs can do this. It's internal. It's internal. Thank you. That was a great question.
Thank you.
Why can't I get one of those swords?
You can talk to Michael and he'll show you how to make one.
Thanks.
He does. He has a form that he makes them. He made them for a long time. Any other questions? Yeah. Heel pain?
Like I have pins and needles in my left heel. So when I'm standing, you know, I'm flat to the ground and I'm okay, but all of a sudden I'll get, these pains.
Yeah, that's coming from your hips.
Mm.
The hips are what's out of balance. Is it Norma that does? Do you see Norma?
Oh, I do.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. Yeah, and I
Yeah.
have both knees replaced, so I have replacements in both knees, so I get to look forward to the future.
You need to. In the beginning, I was like this, and I would always lock my knees, right? And I've been doing Tai Chi for 10 years. And all of a sudden, I'm in pain. And I thought, well, maybe I'll do some yoga. So everybody knows this yoga pose, right? I'm standing there. And the teacher, she was really good at the time. She goes, your legs are weak. I've been doing Tai Chi. My legs are not weak, right? Oh, yes, they are. So I had to correct that. You know, I had to take that correction and I had to develop here. And it's very prevalent in aging. It's this we lose that dynamic energy that holds us up. Does anybody know the word turgor? Turgor is what makes a plant reach for the sun. Turgor. What do you do when you get out of bed in the morning? We get up. We stand up. And we stand up into gravity. But we get lazy or we have traumas or and then we're like, oh my God, I'm just going to go to the kitchen and make coffee. Right? And that develops this very, very destructive habit. So you get up in the morning, open up like a flower, and be alive, be in your body. And your energy will naturally flow into it. It's designed to be that way. Yeah.
So, are you saying that when you're doing these poses and doing everything, you're concentrating on that area, like thinking about the area in the inner thighs? Right.
The crotch.
Yeah. So, you're just paying attention to make sure that you're in form and you're paying attention to those muscles?
Practice. It's a practice. In the practice is where you get your answers. It's in the practice. And it doesn't take but one little, a horse kicked me here. I still have a little indention right there. It took me a couple of years to correct that. You know, I had to really pay attention because it damaged this muscle a little bit. And so it wanted to be weak. So I had to just keep, and I still, if I say, okay, here I was in the beginning, my body knows this very well. I have to pay attention. Yeah, I have to pay attention.
Be here now.
Be here now.
Be here now.
Be here now. The first words that caught my attention when I was 22. Oh, what does that mean? Any other questions?
I would just add that don't let the simple techniques deceive you that they're not effective. Because I trained hard form martial arts for many, many years. And this is much better if you're aging, if you're trying to keep your body in shape, if you're starting out from a weak position, you can go at your own level, you can move at your own pace. And, you know, it's like, they seem like oversimplified from the style that I come from, but I wouldn't underestimate that just these simple moves are walk around the block. And we know that with trauma, post-traumatic stress, mental health, you got to get in your body. It's body, mind, spirit. It's everything all together that the body holds the score and moving these energies through your body. Don't let the simple techniques deceive you that they're not effective, because they are.
Because you're putting your awareness there. You're putting awareness. Don't talk to your body if you're not listening. Say that again. I can. Just,
passive learning. Yeah, like he teaches them to. I know Jackie Chan with the newer kids, it was pick up your jacket, put it up, put it down. I mean, he had this kid do it for hours, and then he rushes the kid and he says, "Pick up the jacket," and the kid just reacts without thinking about it. Right? You involved in the Karate Kid?
Thank you. Yeah. We drag our bodies through life. We drag our bodies through life. How about if we let our bodies dance us through life? Right? That's much more fun than dragging it out of bed, dragging it to work, dragging it here, dragging it there. It can be alive and dynamic. Watch wildlife. My goodness. I know where they got that. It's beautiful. Did anybody see the monkey feeding the parrot? It was beautiful. The monkey was just giving the parrot food. You know, just this real gentle. And then I watch a lot of the videos on the gorillas. They're the most gentle, amazing animals I've ever seen. They love their babies. It's incredible. Watch animals. Be like a cat. Thank you.
I did a little bit of martial arts, but mostly watching my daughter do katas, which is what I'm thinking you're doing, is the constant over and over and over again, so you don't have to think about it when the time comes for you to use it, right? So I think that's what you were referring to. Like, it just becomes automatic because you're so used to, your body has that cellular memory of doing this thing over and over again, right?
Yes, thank you for that.
Yeah.
I was in the early years. I was in the Bighorn Mountains. I was helping an old guy get round up his sheep, and we were on horseback, and we were up in the mountains, and I was on his big old white horse. She was a beautiful mare, and we got on top of the mountain. And does anybody know what a scree field is? A scree field is where all the rocks have fallen down, and it's just scree, just rocks and debris. And we're on top of this mountain, and goes, okay, we got to go down there. And I'm like, are you out of your mind? I'm getting off this horse, right? So I got off the horse, and we're going halfway down the mountain, and she slips behind me. I hear her slip, and my body just went, ooh. And then I lifted her back up. She rebalanced herself, and down the mountain we went. It was so automatic. It becomes second nature. You are that. You're not creating that. You are that. That's why we practice. That's why we practice.
Well, thank you, Sarah. We're looking forward to you offering the class in September, probably on a Saturday, or do we know? We have lots more availability here than we did when you did it before. So
That's kind of what I'm waiting for, and you'll do that.
great. Very good. Thank you. Thank you. Clicker? I don't know what else is in this PowerPoint. Hopefully the announcements, right? Okay. Keep going. Keep going. All right. Awesome. Thank you. So this is a time for just, our offerings. We are a standing, although we are part of this organization called Spiritual Living. We exist and we function because of the giving of the people in our community, all the volunteers, all the people who give of their time, talent, and treasure. So we're just going to pass the basket around and ask you whatever you can give. You're welcome to give online. There's lots of ways that we can do that, and we have a kiosk out there for people to give if they want to use their card. And then we have this other way that people can give. This is really fun. Our text to tithe. So when you program this number into your phone, that 352-320-5110, and you want to give to the center, all you do is text the amount that you want to give. And it goes right from your account to our account. And then I just bless this because I give online too. So that is a great way to do it. And you can always go and give on PayPal. But I'm going to go ahead and bring us back to our affirmation. There we go. Too many clicks. And I'll invite you to say this affirmation with me. It is the nature of life to give of itself, as it is the tree's nature to bear fruit and the flower's nature to bloom. It is my nature to share the gifts of my time, talent, and treasure. I participate in the divine flow of life, giving generously and receiving abundantly. I am blessed and I am a blessing. I am grateful. And so it is. All right. And next. I think the clicker needs a new battery. Something's up here. Okay, so our newsletter just came out. How many people got the newsletter? If you haven't gotten your newsletter, you either need to sign up on the website or let us know if you've already signed up and you didn't get it. We'll make sure that you get the newsletter because it has all of the events, our events calendar for the next month. And our theme for this month is wholeness. It's oneness and wholeness. And so that means looking at all the parts of us, right? As Sarah was saying, the yin and the yang and the dark and the light and the male and the female and all of that and integrating it into ourselves so we can be as fully whole as we can be. So I'll be talking about that next week. It's more like a more traditional kind of a service that you might be used to going to a church. So that's what we'll be doing next week. And I will be speaking. Would you hit it again? Thank you. Our events. Seafood Boil. We have a fundraiser coming up on Saturday at Your Phoenix is Rising. I'm going to give it to Norma. You want to say anything about that? Is it too late for people?
No, today was technically the last day that people could let me know they were coming. I'm trying to find out how many people so I won't get there and then everybody's like, I get one crab leg. So I want to make sure I got enough food. It's $50 per person. It's not per plate. I know last week it said per plate. It's all you care to eat. Just eat until you don't want anymore. And we plan to have crab legs, blue crab, shrimp, corn on the cob, potato, and eggs. Maybe some crawfish if I can find some fresh ones. I don't like the frozen. And it's gonna be at Your Phoenix is Rising. The address is on the screen. And if you can get me money today, that would be great so I can buy all the stuff. But if not, can you pay when you get there, just as long as you let me know you're coming.
Awesome. We did this last year and it was a blast. Yeah, I think they had more fun watching me eat the crab and try not to dirty my hands. If you can imagine such a thing. Anyway, that's next week and it's just a great opportunity for community and for some great food and laughter and karaoke. And 10 and under eat free, so you can bring your kids. Oh, really? 2 in the afternoon? Oh, all right. Okay. Starting at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. No, it's at Your Phoenix is Rising, which is located on Silver Springs Boulevard. Yeah, the address is there. It's near the Methodist Church downtown. Across from Checkers, not too far. Again, next. Yeah, just go ahead and hit it. It's not working. Okay, parenting class, May 19th at 3 p.m. We're working on getting sitters for our young people. It's a great class. My daughter-in-law actually teaches it, and she's got 3 kids. I said she's my daughter-in-law. She's daughter in love. She's the mother of my grandbabies. And so she's a single mom too, raising, 3 kids from 4 to 14 and does an amazing job, works for Kids Central. This is what she does for a living. So I highly encourage people with children and people who care about kids to come for that class. You had something? I'm sorry, I did not find that out, but do me a favor and message me that question so I can send it to her and get you that answer. Okay. Yep, Super Second Sunday, I told you about that. It's oneness, reclaiming the divine feminine. It is part of our year-long class on the foundations of the teaching, what we teach here, the philosophy called the science of mind. So every month is a different one of the principles that we teach, so everyone can have a really good grounding in what this is. And at the end of the year, if you want to get credit for the class, You would have done the assignments, which are posted on Canva. And if you're interested in that, we'll make sure you get the link. Talk to Cole back there. And so you do the homework, pay the $45 fee for the registration for home office, and then you'll have credit for doing foundations course, which will allow you to serve on the board, to volunteer with the kids, to do a lot of things that are kind of, like what we call entry level stuff here. And it's the basis for all the other classes that come afterwards. So highly recommend it. And it's okay if you missed other ones, you can catch up online. Next. Thank you. After that is the third Sunday is our Circle Sunday. Similar setup to today. We're sitting in circle and we offer the topic and a few questions. So there's like an overview of what we're talking about. And then we take those discussion questions and we break out into small groups and we talk about it. And it's just, I love Circle Sundays. It's one of my favorite things where you get to really know the people in the community. And the thing about Circle is you ask a question and everybody answers it, and everybody's response kind of expands, our understanding and our awareness of these different things. So it's really a lot of fun. I know it's not for everybody, and that's okay. That's why we offer a lot of different things here. Next. Fourth Sunday, she walked in just in time. You want to say anything about this, Galen? I'll let you talk on it.
We're gonna really delve deep into how do we regenerate, and the smallest part of us, at that the DNA, where Osmosis Jones meets Tai Chi meets psychedelics, dreams, and rituals. All right, we're gonna do the whole combination and really focus on how do we regenerate mind, body, spirit, so that we stay lively and revitalized and we know how to regenerate ourselves at a cellular level. And it is possible, and it really is helpful to be a part of a spiritual community like this to do the work as well, because we hold that energy together in community. And so it's really important. And if I might, just speaking of community, it's a beginning of May. We have a lot of Tauruses here in the community. Who's the Taurus in the group here? We got, yes, yeah, and Geminis. And so I brought a birthday cake. So please, everybody's invited to come and join. I have gluten-free and regular wonderful Publix birthday cake. I think they make the best birthday cakes. And happy birthday to all the Tauruses. I don't know if we want to. Do we? Are we ready? Do you want me to bring it out? Yeah.
Let's finish up.
All right.
We'll finish the announcements and then we'll sing happy birthday and have cake. All right. How's that? And then, so the next thing on that fourth Sunday, I'm going to let David talk about that, one of our birthday boys.
So the integration circle will be right after Galen's talk on the fourth Sunday. It will be at 1:00. There is no psychedelic substances being consumed, and it is to integrate non-ordinary states of consciousness, whether they were initiated by substances or maybe out-of-body experience, medical emergency, near-death experience, or anything of that nature that you're trying to kind of figure out. Spiritual experiences, this goes all the way back to William James 100 years ago, varieties of religious experience, and trying to kind of bring those meaningful things into your awareness and everyday life that you might not be able to talk about at other organizations around town.
I just love that so much. That we are the place where people can come to talk about those experiences. I was a hospice social worker for some years, and people would tell me on the sly, real quiet, about experiences they had, right? Near-death experiences, out of body, and they thought, don't ever tell my pastor, or don't tell my wife or anybody in my family because they'll think I'm nuts, right? But here's the place where you could come and talk about these things. Because our pastor's a little on the edge there. We are all our own unique selves, and that's it. We're just real about it, okay? That's the only difference. We're real because everybody's having these experiences all over the place. We're just bold enough to talk about it. So there you go. What else? Volunteer opportunities. Always so many opportunities for volunteers here. Outside. Do you want to talk about this, Cole? I never put you on the spot, but why not?
My name is Cole, and I am the volunteer coordinator. So, if you enjoy the community, this is one of the best things to. I mean, that's one of the things that you can do is volunteer, and it's fun. It's not just all work; it's fun, and you get to connect with more people in a more personal level. That's where I found a lot of close friends. So.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Donna. I'm one of the practitioners here, and I'm usually in the back with the littles. So the volunteering part, one of the reasons I volunteer is because it's one way to get myself to actually show up to the thing. I don't know if y'all have the same issue, but for me, if I have a challenge getting myself, especially when my depression gets a hold of me and I can't get out of the bed, if I'm volunteering, there's something bigger pulling me towards that thing. So that's why I do it. It forces me out of my comfort zone. So if you're one that struggles, volunteering is the way to do it, man. And we hold you in love. And no matter what it is that you can do, trust me when I tell you, we will find a purpose and a need for it. No matter how small. It could be that you put together little tchotchkes and that's your thing. That takes a lot of dexterity and skill. So we could use that too. All right. So don't be shy. Definitely see Coley. Look at that smile. You can't help yourself. You're just drawn already.
Announce that we have a meal after that.
Yes. Also, y'all, can y'all smell that? Wilma and crew. Where's the rest of the people? And Ada, hi. I've been back here feeding us on so many occasions, just showing up and treating our bodies with love. I really appreciate you guys so much for doing that. Talk about volunteering. All right, are we ready? Yeah, we got force today.
Kids, can we gather the little people? We'll gather our little folks. They've been so good. It's hard for them to reel in, that energy. Can't get kids to do Tai Chi. Or maybe we're going to wait on that. It looks like we're going to sing happy birthday first. All right, our not Libras, but our Taurus people and our Gemini people. Who has a birthday in May? Norma, David, anybody else? All right. Tiffany's not here today. That's right. And Pam's not here. Well, yeah, we'll sing happy birthday anyway to everybody. All right. So you're going to go over there and represent to blow out the candle. Ready? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Yeah, and many more. All right. Make your wish. Yes, yes. Happy birthday. You do get to eat first, and then we're going to bless our young people are here, at least a couple of them. Now, I know there's a few. I know there's more than that. There's one more. And there's another one. Where's the other? Is little G back there? All right. All right. So, do we have our music? All right, everybody.
Living in fear, but we're gonna let it shine. No more living in fear.
it shine. This little light of mine. Oh, let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine, shine. Shine, shine. All right. So, all right. So here's what we say. We're going to send some love, especially to our young folks. Everybody sends love to each other, right? Look somebody in the eyes and say, we honor you. We see your light. May it shine on all that you do. And so it is. And so it is. All right. Yes. So you honor yourself, the young person inside of you. All right. And I think that with that, we'll do our prayer for protection and just close out. You're welcome to say this along with me if you'd like. The light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And so it is. All right, we've got food. Feel free to hang out, have some cake, have some yummies, and we'll see you next week.